Good morning, and thank you so much for joining us today as we celebrate Valerie Langston, our 2020 Andrus Award recipient. We're very excited to hear from Valerie herself, as well as some other people who have been involved in her Andrus journey. But before we get there, I would first like to welcome our State Director for AARP Wisconsin, Sam Wilson, and he's going to tell us a little bit more about the Andrus Award program.
Thanks, Courtney. Well, it's such a pleasure to be here, and I know we would all rather be doing this in person together to celebrate Valerie and all of her accomplishments and great deeds in her community. But here we are, and it's such a pleasure to always talk about really the history of AARP and who Dr. Andrus was and how it relates to the Andrus Award. So to understand why we do the Andrus Award, you really have to go back to the beginnings of AARP and understand our founder, Dr. Ethel Percy Andrus. Dr. Andrus was a prominent educator in Southern California back in the 50s, and she had a vision once she retired that there needed to be a stronger voice for older Americans. At that time, there was no Medicare program. There were very few retirement benefits for older workers. And so she saw too many older adults really struggling once they ended their professional lives. And on one particular day, she went to go find one of her former colleagues and had gone to an address where she had been told her former colleague lived. And as she approached the home and knocked on the door and asked for her former colleague by name, the person residing there said, "Well, that person doesn't live here in this home, but you may want to check around out back." And so Dr. Andrus went to the back of the lot at the home, and in a converted chicken coop, she found one of her former colleagues living in some of the most dire circumstances that she has ever seen. And she said, something's got to change about the plight of older adults in the United States. So Dr. Andrus first started the National Retired Teachers Association, which then morphed into the American Association of Retired Persons, which we all know today as AARP. Dr. Andrus's vision for AARP was to certainly advance a voice for older Americans, but her vision was even bigger than that. She understood that it wasn't just one person that would make a difference in our communities. She really believed that in order for big change to happen, you need to have large groups of individuals working together in common cause. She knew that her vision would require leadership, and certainly she was a key part of developing AARP's leadership. But her vision of communities of change are really what sparked the last 60 plus years of work at AARP. It certainly is, it does speak to the legacy of her work that when AARP first formulated, she was asked to be the president and CEO of AARP because, after all, this was her vision. And she declined at that time to be either the president or the CEO of AARP and rather said, I want to be the chief volunteer for AARP. I think it's important for AARP to have both a staff and volunteer presence within the organization. She saw that as the key strength to the long-term benefits of this organization. And so she was the biggest champion, the biggest cheerleader, and but also remained in a volunteer role throughout her time with AARP. The Andrus Award, therefore, honors that tradition and honors her as part of AARP's legacy. And here in Wisconsin, it's our pleasure, and perhaps the most difficult decision we make every year is selecting an Andrus Award winner. But our executive council reviews tens of applications every year from tremendously deserving individuals. And in the past, we've had recipients who have done anything from volunteered for tax preparation services, for driver education purposes, for hunger issues around the state and many others. And it's without a doubt our pleasure to have gone through all those applications and seen Valerie Langston as our recipient for the 2020 Andrus Award for Community Service here in Wisconsin. We congratulate you, Valerie. It was a tough decision, but we certainly couldn't be more proud to have you as a representative of Dr. Andrus's vision here in Wisconsin.
Great. Thank you so much, Sam, for that wonderful overview. And we are going to get to hear about how Valerie has embodied that vision of service and leadership. But first, I would like to also mention that as part of the Andrus Award, recipients are allowed to direct a donation to the nonprofit of their choosing. And Valerie this year has chosen the Neighborhood House of Milwaukee to receive a $1,000 donation. And so thank you so much, Valerie, for selecting them for that donation. And I would like to now welcome Jeff from the Neighborhood House of Milwaukee to tell us a little bit about what you guys do and how you see that money kind of impacting your work, and how Valerie has kind of been involved with you guys.
Good morning, everyone. I'd like to congratulate Valerie Langston on this award. I'd like to thank her for her service to our community. Neighborhood House is a community center here in the Near West Side. Valerie is actually a neighbor of ours. Since 1945, we've been providing preschool, after-school teen programs, refugee programs, parenting support to our neighbors from throughout the Near West Side. And what's really neat about Valerie Langston is she embodies a lot of the very ideals that are important to Neighborhood House and its success. We are pleased to tell you that during the pandemic, we started a food pantry, and we had Valerie visit soon after we learned that she was going to be getting the Andrus Award from AARP. And what I'm really pleased to tell you is the AARP grant will help us fortify that new neighborhood resource, which has already served nearly 2,200 of our neighbors since it opened last summer. In fact, when the pandemic is over, because she's such a community servant, Valerie promised that she's going to be back to work in the food pantry as a volunteer, but once COVID-19 is behind us. So from Neighborhood House of Milwaukee, thank you, AARP, thank you, Valerie Langston, and thank you to her nominators at the Near West Side Partners.
Thank you so much, Jeff, for everything that you and your team at Neighborhood House do. I cannot imagine the amount of work you guys have done, during the pandemic, but also prior to that. And we're so grateful for your continued work on those issues. So thank you so much. So next, we would like to kind of ramp up the time before we get to talk to Valerie. And I would like to welcome her nominators, Brittany and Lindsay, who have worked very closely with Valerie over the years. And if you guys could just kind of give us an idea of like how you know Valerie, the stuff that you've worked with her on, and why you decided to nominate her for the Andrus Award this year.
Brittany, would you like to begin?
Sure. Give me a second. Sorry. So I have known Valerie for approximately 2 years now. I met her during my time working as a organizer for Near West Side Partners. I mean, there is so much to say about her as a person, as a leader in her community, and as an individual. From the very first day I've met her, she has been one of those people who has a very strong spirit. And what is really nice about Valerie is that she is good at making everyone feel welcomed, everyone feel appreciated, and everyone feel loved. She has taken the time to work very hard to help improve some of the conditions in her neighborhood that a lot of us will look at and be like, oh my goodness, or wouldn't want to take the time to address themselves. And so she has worked very hard with her neighbors to organize cleanups, to organize a block club for her neighborhood. But not only that, she is an avid volunteer with Near West Side Partners. In my time there, she has helped us with a ton of our events, from like art events to, helping us with our farmers market. In any capacity in which we have needed Valerie, she has shown up. And not only has she shown up, but she is good at bringing people with her, and she is always really good at getting people excited. Um, Through this time, I've also gotten to know her on a personal level, and I can truly tell you, like, there is no one else that is more deserving of this than Valerie. She is strong. She is opinionated, but in an awesome way. She brings so much to any team that she is a part of. And if she takes on a role, she commits to it. And I think that is something that is really important in community work and in community development. Um, her her spirit is just very strong, and I'm so very thankful that the city of Milwaukee has her as a resident. I'm so excited and happy that Near West Side has her as a resident, and that she is working to help improve our conditions in the city of Milwaukee. So Valerie, thank you. I hope that you are excited and happy about this, because I'm ecstatic for you.
And I would add, it is an honor not only to nominate someone like Valerie Langston for this award, but to be able to congratulate her. Near West Side Partners is a community and economic development organization that works in Milwaukee's 7 Near West Side neighborhoods. And Valerie is a very active part of our Merrill Park neighborhood, organizing the residents there. And the success of Near West Side Partners is tied directly to residents like Valerie. She embodies the Andrus Award spirit with her strong voice and her belief in the collective community and what it can do to improve the quality of life for everybody. Whether she is participating or organizing cleanups to, helping to bring neighbors to our events like the farmers market, Valerie has an enthusiasm and a dedication that is really infectious, and it really helps bring people along. Valerie was instrumental in the recent development of a transformational plan for the neighborhood, and contributing her ideas and her vision for what can make this neighborhood really great for all who live there. She supports homeowners in her area, but also the renters in the area, which are often our hardest population to connect with and who often need the most assistance and services. So to be able to approach them as a neighbor, to be able to share her experience in the neighborhood has really been beneficial, not just to the Merrill Park neighborhood, but to the greater Near West Side community. And I think what's especially notable over the course of the last year, Valerie has been amazing at helping her neighbors adapt to our new COVID reality. She was helping to organize virtual meetings, making sure people had the information that they needed to be connected. She was reaching out to Near West Side Partners team members on a regular basis to make sure that we were aware of neighbors who might need a little bit of extra assistance. And, she really went that extra mile when people were hurting the most. So again, I echo what Brittany says. The city of Milwaukee and the Near West Side in particular is very lucky to have Valerie Langston as a resident, as a friend, as a volunteer. Valerie, thank you and congratulations.
Thank you both so much. It's so great being able to hear, somebody actually speak about it. I mean, reading the submission was great, but hearing you guys talk about Valerie's passion and her friendship and just, her complete dedication to the community is amazing to hear from you guys. So thank you so much for being here, and thank you for all the work that you guys have done as well. And so as a segue, now that we've heard all of the great things that Valerie does in her community, I would like to welcome our esteemed award recipient this year, Valerie Langston. Thank you so much for being here. And I know that Brittany and Lindsay did a great job, and Jeff also mentioned some of the great work you're doing in your community. But if you wanted to tell us a little bit about maybe what drives you, or if people have listened to this and they're like, I want to work with Valerie, she sounds awesome, like how can they get involved with the work that you're doing?
Well, good morning. I'd like to thank Brittany and Lindsay and Jeff for the nice things that they've said. I can't tell this story the way that they did. They are looking from the outside in to me, and I'm really appreciative of what they've seen and the compliments that they have given me. Brittany is so right. I guess I am opinionated. I like to stay busy, and I do push when I want to volunteer so that I might stay busy. I don't know. I've just always had more than enough time in my life for myself, my family, and for the community. I'm always have enough energy to indulge outside of myself. And from the nice things that they said, I'm glad that I've always been this way. I've been this way all my life, just being busy, helping others, organizing things in the community since I was young, even if it was just organizing young kids and trying to teach them sports. My big thing is sports: softball, basketball, track, organizing teenage women's young women's team with myself for playing other projects in Chicago, playing softball games. I've always been kind of an organizer and leader and fight mediators, the whole 9 yards. First of all, before I really get into that, I was just so pleasantly surprised when AARP called me. I mean, I was like blindsided. Then I turned very grateful because I don't think I've been surprised with anything before, and especially such a prestigious award as this one. Sometimes you just kind of feel like, what? That's just something I always do. I don't think of being recognized for it at all because I volunteered all my life, and I don't know that I've been that much recognized by such, of course I haven't, by such a big organization. So here in my late years, I'm really happy and grateful to be receiving this award. And a lot about me is just like I said, I like to help people. I know a lot of it I got from my mother. My mother always had me helping somebody at the grocery store, especially my elders. I've always done everything I can whenever I see somebody that's elderly and help. Of course, a lot of that moves as I grew older, moved into doing things on a larger scale in communities. When I was raising my son in Hillside here in Milwaukee, I volunteered at the Boys and Girls Club. I was a Vista volunteer there on a 2-year assignment. We formulated a food buying co-op in that neighborhood, as well as the new Share Food program that was out in the early 80s. I don't know, just anything to keep busy. I just seem to do anything keeps busy, and it just makes me happy. That just makes me happy. Inspiring other people to do the same thing. A lot of times in the community, people have problems and issues and complaints. And I like to turn those into some positive outcomes for them. I'm not afraid to go and speak up to landlords, or even if there are neighborly problems, I'm not afraid to try to mediate those things. That's just another level of my involvement. I don't know. Some people might say that I'm busybody. I don't know. It still makes me feel good to help. Um, with the block watch and working with Near West Side. Since I'm retired now, I have just a lot of spare time. With the COVID-19 out, I can't interact with my grandson. So I have a lot of time on my hands. A lot of this is Zoom work and phone work, volunteering, staying in touch with elderly neighbors in the community, making sure that they're okay, maybe that they're not in the hospital. Um, just always helping. I tell you, just the big snow that we had, it was just a beautiful sight to see so many people in the neighborhood come out and help each other, and help people that are passing through the neighborhoods getting stuff. That's the type of things that that's a volunteering on a certain level, being able to help others do something that's outside of yourself, step out of your comfort zone, and take a little bit of time to help someone else. I don't know, it kind of just comes naturally to me. Um, and I'm just glad that I'm the one that has been sharing, and that then too, I'm humbled that it's been recognized. Um, is there any specific questions you might want me to answer?
Um, I don't have any specific questions, but I do just want to quickly mention I loved hearing about your kind of lifelong dedication, and it sounds like volunteering is something that has been in you since you were a kid and instilled in you from a very young age. And that is incredibly inspiring for me to hear. I'm sure everyone else watching is also very inspired by all of the work that you've done and just your kind of natural drive for it. And yes.
Somebody wanted to see it again. I know it's hard to read it, but it's pretty heavy. It's just gorgeous. It's just gorgeous. Thank you.
And we are so grateful to have been able to send that to you and to be able to recognize your work. I know you said you don't do it to be recognized, and that selfless attitude is exactly what makes you so inspiring to so many people. And I just really want to thank you for everything that you've done for your community, whether it's the really small things or the really big things. Everything adds up. Milwaukee is lucky to have you. Near West Side is lucky to have you. AARP is lucky to have honored you. Thank you so much for everything you have done, Valerie, and congratulations on the award.
And thank you so much. Also, in everything that I've done, I haven't done alone. I've always had people that helped me in the volunteering when I was younger, and especially now that I'm older and not as healthy. And I do really depend on the other community volunteers. Without them, an idea is just that, an idea. There's no action. So I want to just flip to my one spot here, because I really would like uh, to commend some of my best neighbors that volunteer. Um, some of us live on the same alley. We have been snow shoveling alleys together for years. Um, that um, that helps everybody that lives on the alley, and it might be just five of us, and we do it because we have to use that alley, and we don't really mind that other folks don't help. It has to be done, so we get it done. That's just me. It has to be done. Let's just do it. So I like to give a shout out to some people who have tirelessly volunteered with me over the years, over more than 9 and 10 years in that neighborhood. I'll start with Michael G., Miss Alicia L., Antonio R., my personal um, assistant, CJ, Christopher James. He's been helping me for years around the house. since he was 9 years old. He'll be 16 soon. Miss Jeannie J, Miss Melissa S, Miss Annie C, Miss Joyce H, and the rest of the Hilltoppers Block Watch members. I graciously share this moment and award to honor them immensely. I want to thank them very much for all of their help over the years. For the neighborhood house, I did not grow up in Milwaukee. My son grew up here, and we were more around the Hillside Boys and Girls Club, where I did a lot of volunteering, as well as my son did too. But in this neighborhood, as a near West Side Partners member, we had a meeting at the neighborhood house, and I was just so taken aback by how it was laid out and everything. And that's why I chose them. And I didn't know a lot about them, only that they're sitting in a really conspicuous part of the neighborhood. You could just miss it. So I did schedule to go down there and meet them and have a tour. And actually, they are just almost exactly like the community center that I grew up in when I was a girl. So I know community centers. I've grown up in them. I've volunteered in them. I've worked in them. And I'm back to being able to volunteer. I did promise Jeff I will be around. There's not a lot of work I can do. I like to, delegate. So, but I can soften up when I need to. But yes, I do plan on doing a little bit more over there and seeing what I can do, because I like to be around the kids too. Maybe I can do homework help. I'm good at math, science, and stuff like that. So, but I will be back over there, and I'm very pleased to that he accepted the donation. I know that they'll use it very well. And
yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, no. I was just going to say it's it's unfortunate that what the neighborhood house does is something that's going to continue to be work that needs to be done. And so thanks again to Jeff and his team and everything they're doing. And thank you, Valerie, for already committing to continuing to support their work. I'm sure you will be a great delegator and leader and volunteer after the pandemic when things are safe again.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Awesome. Was there anybody else that I know it takes like a village, and you probably have so many people that have volunteered alongside you along the way. Is there anyone else that you wanted to kind of highlight at this time, or anything like that?
Well, I know I would like to give a shout out to near West Side, because they have allowed me to come in there and kind of do just almost anything. They've been very, very supportive. All the volunteering that I have done, I usually think that, nobody turns a volunteer away, and they don't either. So I'm happy for the opportunity they've given me. They've seen some things that I can do and where I can fit in their organization volunteering, and they have allowed that. And so I'm very happy. They're helping with my non-boredom during retirement, and I thank them.
Awesome. Great. Well, thanks again to Jeff, and thank you to Neighborhood House. Thank you to Brittany and Lindsay for being with us today. Thank you to Near West Side Partners for everything they do in the community. And of course, I have to once again thank Valerie for all of the work you do in your community. Truly, we are all lucky to have you in Wisconsin, in Milwaukee, in our neighborhood. And I wish you the most continued success with all of your volunteer efforts. And congratulations again on an award very well deserved.
Thank you. Thank you, AARP. Thank you very much. Thank you.